2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Tuesday out there so far. Everybody has a great Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well, and also enjoy the weather, because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about Major Hurricane Franklin, which is a Category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale. Also, we're going to take a look at Hurricane Idalia, which is a Category, I think 1 hurricane right now, but should be a Category 2. Which will become Tropical Storm Jose sometime later today or on noon tonight, and also through your Wednesday evening and early Thursday morning. Alright, if you're a new viewer and have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to it today. And also, if you know anybody that would love to subscribe to the Mike Bass Weather Forecast channel, send them over to my page. Love to have them. Also, like these videos, share these videos, and let's get the show on the road here, folks. Alright, as you can see here, we got Hurricane Franklin spinning in the open tropical Atlantic. Not too far from Bermuda. Bermuda is just a little bit to the northeast of Franklin here. For the island there as well, because Tropical Storm Franklin, hurricane kind of skirt by that region. He got a well-defined circulation. You can see the well-defined eye in it. Got a big old eye there, as you can see. Got a lot of convection around the center. Rotate. We'll take a look at the hurricane models and the intensity guidance of Franklin, and then we'll move on to Tropical Storm Idalia. Alright, as you can see here, we're fixing to take a look at the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center on Tropical Storm. I don't know, Major Hurricane Franklin. I just used to say a tropical storm. Sorry about that, folks. But anyway, here's Major Hurricane Franklin, still located around Tropical Storm Force winds in the yellow. You can see a little bit of the hurricane force winds behind the X there. This was at 2 p.m. advisory. There's Bermuda. Got tropical storm warning for you guys. Tropical storm conditions in that across the Bermuda Island. With some heavy rain, gusty winds, and maybe some tornadic activity would not be ruled out, as well as the center of the storm continues to move in your direction. Alrighty, if you let's see, if you're plotting this storm at home, the location near latitude is 31.0 north, longitude 70.2 west, maximum sustained winds at 125 miles per hour. Yesterday it was 130. It just came down just about 5 miles per hour. Well, it did get up to 145, but it slightly weakened a little bit, so that's good news. Look like it's going to continue to weaken over as the continues journey on hurricane through Wednesday, and then by Wednesday evening it should be just a Category 2 hurricane. The movement will be to the north-northeast at 12 miles per hour. Forward, increasing forward speed will continue, and it will continue to take on off to the east-northeast. Should be over the next several days. Alright, classified right is major hurricane. That's what it is right now, with winds of 125 miles per hour. Alright, let's take a look. Look at the hurricane located right about here. See all the consensus, model consensus keeps it right in that line there. Pretty much going past St. John's Island up here in southeast Canada, and it's going to head on off toward Europe as well later on down the road. All right, let's take a look at the intensity guidance of the storm. As you can see right now, it's a Category 4 hurricane. That's why I said 115 knots, but the wind's up to 125 miles per hour. See, it keeps continuing downward, 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 and become a tropical storm. Should be in the next 108 hours. Some of them even got it back to 72 hours, even 96 hours, all the way up to 168 hours for this system to slowly drop back to a tropical storm. All right, now here's the major player for the southeastern United States. This is Hurricane Idalia. Idalia is getting a little better defined. You can see the convection getting a little better organized in the center of rotation. It has not got an eye yet, but it should be getting an eye probably soon, because you can see it already getting convection around the center. It should not be too much longer. The eye wall should be forming in Idalia. All right, you can see on the west coast of Florida, much of southern Florida, Florida Keys already getting pounded by some of this hurricane force wind. Also some heavy rains, also gusty winds. Also expected through the Florida Keys all the way up into central and southern Florida. It will continue to spread across the Florida region through the remainder of this afternoon. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. Cone from the no, I didn't want that one. I gotta let it get to Idalia. Here we go. All right, here we go. All right, this is at 2 p.m. this afternoon. You see the big wind field, a tropical storm force wind. Got a big swath of it there. Most of the heaviest winds are located on the east side of the storm, but the west side is getting some winds out of it as well. Let's see, it's supposed to become a hurricane. Like I said, well, it's already a hurricane. Should become a major hurricane at landfall with 125, maybe about 120 to 125 miles per hour. Would not be surprised to see it a Category 4 hurricane making landfall in the Big Bend region of Florida. All right, remains a tropical storm here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Wednesday. Should be in southeast Georgia. Thursday at 8 a.m. should be over here in the Grand Strand region of South Carolina, and then out into the Atlantic coastal waters out here around 8 a.m. Sunday. Some of the computer models I've been looking at, taking this system back around, making a loop, heading through the Bahamas, and may either come back in on the west side, or may even come back up the east side of Florida, and could come back into the Carolinas. I would not be surprised to see that happen. That's why the National Hurricane Center got this big ball out here, look like a ball at the end of it, because they're really not sure if it's going to be heavy, or is it going to come back this way, or is it going to go up. Still a question mark, but some of the computer models have been showing it coming back around, heading toward the west coast of Florida once again. I would not be surprised to see that happen. All right. As you can see on the hurricane model, just exactly what I've been talking about. You'll see it here in a minute. You can see here the current position of Idalia. Continue to move through the eastern Gulf of Mexico, make landfall in the Big Bend region, come into southern, the coastal South Carolina region through the Grand Strand, and coming around like this. See, some of them do take it back into Florida, as a couple takes it all to the northeast, but a lot of them takes it kind of around and stops it right here. But they do kind of turn it back the way I've been talking about. I would not be surprised to see it head, make a loop, and maybe head right back toward Florida. It could move back across Florida, back into the Gulf, and come back around once again. We cannot rule that out as well. So I just want to let everybody give everybody a All right, here are the intensity guidance. Category 1 hurricane, about 70 to 75 knot wind. That equals up to 85 miles per hour. See, some of the models takes it to a category 3. Most of them keeps it at category 2. Then they dramatically drop it off into a tropical storm. It remains a tropical storm. Some even keeps it. Some moves it back up into a hurricane, back to 120 hours out. So something we're going to have to keep eye on, folks, because I don't know really what Idalia is going to do. She got some tricks up her sleeves, I see, that may impact Florida once again. All right, let's move on to tropical depression number 11. All right, this is tropical depression number 11 as this morning. I think 11 a.m. this morning, it became a tropical depression. Looks kind of poorly organized, but it's got enough thunderstorm activity and also winds in it to be classified as a tropical depression. All right, let's take a look at the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. On tropical depression number 11. All right, as you can see here, right here, tropical depression at 11 a.m. Will be a tropical storm. Remain a tropical storm through Thursday, then kind of just fizzle out later on down the road by Friday, just become a remnant low sometime around Friday at 8 a.m. Friday at 8 a.m. Can't talk today for some reason. But anyway, if you're tracking this system here at home, 0.9 north, longitude 51.4 west, maximum sustained wind near 35 miles per hour with higher gusts, and moving this to the north at 2 miles per hour. All right. Let's take a look at the computer model guidance of this system. There's the current location, kind of just meanders it around in the Atlantic. Some want to take it around in loops, some want to take it that way, some that way, some north. So tropical depression is some of the models do take it into tropical storm status. Few keep it tropical depression. That's why the National Hurricane Center go ahead and decided to make it a tropical storm because most of the models are in tropical storm status. All right, I can't remember if I gave y'all the information on Idalia. I'm gonna go back to you real quick. All right, if you plot latitude 25.2 north, longitude 84.9 west, maximum sustained wind now at 90 miles per hour. I thought it was 85, but now it's 90. That was a 2 p.m. advisory. Moving to the north at 15 miles per hour. Forward speed will start picking up. Should be sometime tomorrow, and then by tomorrow, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, it will be making landfall in the Big Bend region of Florida. All right. Just wanted to get that out of the way because I couldn't remember if I did. I don't think I did. But anyway, there's your coordinates for across the nation. All right, as you can see here, we got air quality alerts for you guys in portion of Minnesota, North Dakota, also into Kansas, also down into Texas, also Oregon, and portion of Washington State. One county there in Nevada, and also portions of California. We have red flag warnings also in effect. Also air quality alert for Montana. Red flag warnings in effect for you guys in Montana, Washington State, Idaho, portion of Northern California as well. All right, wind advisory for portion of northern areas of Oregon, also in the portion of Montana and northwest Montana. Flood watches in effect for Idaho and portion of northern Washington State. All right, excessive heat warnings also in effect over here in portion of Arizona and Southern California. Heat advisory there as well for the coastal areas of California. All right, Air quality alert that reports of Texas, South Texas, special weather statement there as well. Flood watches in effect for portions of Pennsylvania down in West Virginia, and also Northern Virginia as well. Coastal flood advisory for you guys in the Washington, D.C. region, Philadelphia area. For the Carolinas down into Georgia. Hurricane statements across central South Carolina. We have tropical storm watches for coastal areas of North Carolina and the inland portions of South Carolina as well. Tropical storm warnings for coastal areas of South Carolina, the low country of South Carolina as well, stretching all the way down into southern Georgia, also down into Florida as well. Got hurricane warnings in effect there as well for South Georgia, also into much of Florida there as well. Coastal waters here got hurricane warnings in effect, and also right along coastal areas there. We have special marine warnings in effect for southern portion, the Panhandle region of Florida, also down in South Florida, Florida Keys. Tropical storm watches in effect over here along the Carolina coastal communities here in the coastal waters area. Also hurricane warning out here because of Hurricane Franklin in that coastal water vicinity. And also, let's see what else we got. Pretty much gale warnings down here along the Gulf Coast. Also over here on the east coast of Florida as well. Alright, Alaska still got the flood watches in effect for northern Alaska, southern Alaska, special weather statements for central and southern Alaska as well. Gale warning for South Alaska. The Hawaiian Chain Island, you got some flood, high surf warnings and gale warnings in effect for much of the island there as well. North side, like I said, you got high surf warnings for you guys as well. Alright, now let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. We have a general thunderstorm from Maine all the way down to Louisiana, southern Texas, also North Texas, back to Arizona and New Mexico, also into portions of Washington, Oregon State, also over here in portions of, we got marginal rift over here in portions of Montana, Idaho, and Washington and Oregon State, also down here in southern Georgia into Florida, slight rift there as well for tornadoes possible. Also, we got slight risk up here in Montana and Idaho as well. Alright, if you live in Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, Gainesville, Florida, Clearwater, Florida, Spring Hill, Florida, slight risk for severe weather this afternoon. Marginal risk, including Jacksonville, Florida, Miami, Florida, Haiti, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Spokane, Washington. That's a marginal risk. Tornado probability. We have a 2% down in South Georgia, in the Florida and Florida Keys, 5% down here in West Florida. This includes Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, Gainesville, Florida, Clearwater, Florida, Spring Hill, Florida. 2%. This includes Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, Cape Coral, Florida, St. Lucie, Florida, for tornado risk. Also the wind probability. 5% brown, 15% yellow up here in portions of Montana and Idaho. Alright, if you live in Masuna, Montana, Oregon, Home, Montana, Hamilton, Montana, 15 risk for severe weather for today, damaging winds that is. If you live in Jacksonville, Florida, Miami, Florida, Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, Haiti, Florida, 5% risk for damaging wind. Hail probability, 5% brown, pretty much over here in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. If you live in Spokane, Washington, Muscaloosa, Montana, Lewiston, Idaho, Opportunity, Washington, and Pullman, Washington, 5% risk for large hail. Alright, let's take a look at your Wednesday forecast. Alright, we got general thunderstorm from Maine all the way down to Louisiana, including the southern Florida, Florida Keys. Again, over here in New Mexico, Arizona, all the way up in the ports of Colorado, Wyoming, North and Nebraska. We got some up here in the Dakotas, back to Montana, northern portions of Iowa and northeastern Washington State. Here's a marginal risk, slight risk extended from central and southern Florida all the way through the Carolinas. Slight risk in the yellow. Alright, if you're in the slight risk area, this includes Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, Gainesville, Florida, and Charleston, South Carolina. If you live in the marginal risk, this includes Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, Clearwater, Florida, Lakeland, Florida, and Brandon, Florida, for severe weather on your Wednesday. Thanks to major hurricane Idalia will be coming through. We got 2% in the green, 5% in brown. All right, 5%. This includes Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, Gainesville, Florida, Charleston, South Carolina. If you live in the 2% area, this includes Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, Clearwater, Florida, Lakeland, Florida, and Brandon, Florida. Winds, let's see, winds is 5%. This includes Jacksonville, Florida, Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Savannah, Georgia. Hail less than 5% all areas. And I think day 3 is just pretty much general thunderstorm, but we'll take a look at it real quick, and then we're going to end the video. Alright, there we go. We just got general thunderstorms from the Outer Banks of North Carolina through South Carolina all the way down to Louisiana, well, southeast Louisiana, southern Florida, Florida Keys, back over here again in New Mexico, Arizona, California, all the way back into Utah and Colorado, and up here in the Dakotas and portion of Minnesota for just general thunderstorm. And like I say, it's less than 5% all area for severe weather on day 3. Alright, well, we're going to wrap up the video. Hope everybody enjoyed it. If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. Love to have you. Like these videos, share these videos, and we'll catch you back in the next video. So enjoy the weather, because it's the only weather you got. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday afternoon.